Fanfic Corner, presented by Jennifer. Ardor, Part 2. Author unknown, read by Jennifer. Of all the sounds Kanan fantasized Hera making when climaxing, and his list was fairly exhaustive, silence wasn't near the top. He found her voice incredibly sensual after all, so perhaps he could be forgiven for being surprised when she orgasmed without making a sound. But before Hera came to tremors in his arms, they went in search of a room. "You're serious?" he asked, looking intently up at her, surprise evident in his voice. About wanting a room? Yes. Her brows quirked as if it was obvious. Public displays aren't one of my turn-ons. As much as Kanan wanted to pursue that line of thinking, considering every single one of Hera's turn-ons would have to wait for another time. She wanted a room, and that took precedence. He would do whatever it took to get her that privacy. With him. Wait here. He pushed Hera off him, feeling conflicted about it. She was pressed closer to her body than he ever allowed himself to seriously entertain. But the promise of a soft bed and privacy and the time to fully explore each other's bodies kept every nerve humming in his body as he gave her one last kiss and parted from her. He headed towards the front of the bar where a Rodian was talking to a bouncer. She exuded authority, and Kanan was pretty sure she was the proprietor of the establishment. "I'd like a room for the night." The woman turned to Kanan. He couldn't be sure, but he thought she might have glanced at Hera. Their kiss had apparently not gone unnoticed beyond the circle of pirates. "You would have the outer room, lover boy. All my rooms are already taken." Kanan frowned. "Okay, he could work with this." "You could try the other two inns here," she suggested. Here was the tiny, dusty outpost of a settlement in a system whose most important characteristics was not having an imperial presence. A halfway point on a hyperspace lane, offering a watering hole and a fuel stop for folks with dubious occupations to meet up before hurrying on to places more lucrative or synectic or happening. Hera looked up expectantly when he returned. Kanan felt the bottom drop out of his stomach at the look in her eyes. Pent-up desire, hope, something that he interpreted as trust. With Force helping him, he had no idea how he was going to make it through this evening. He took her hand. "Come on, let's go." She followed him, a gust of wind blasting them when they stepped out of the door. A storm was brewing. "Where are we going?" She had to raise her voice. "Back to the ship. There are outer rooms." Hera stopped short, jerking Kanan with her, but she didn't drop her hand. "No, not the ghost." "But it's right there." He gestured past the end of the dirty street. The outpost was too small to have an official spaceport, just a fenced area where various starships were parked in packed dirt. "No," she said simply, not elaborating. Kanan pursed his lips, considering, then nodded and headed back in the other direction. They could try one of the other two establishments here. There was only one main road and a couple of alleys. They should be able to find an inn. Hera's hand was still in his own, and she didn't seem inclined to drop it. He marveled that he was walking anywhere holding her hand, wishing he could feel her skin instead of the gloves. He realized soon that he would be able to feel so much more of her skin than just her hands, and shivered in anticipation. Suddenly, Hera's hand gripped his more tightly. He raised his eyebrow in question. She stiffened and then walked backwards into a shadowy recess between two buildings, pulling him with her. "Kiss me." Her voice was urgent, and she yanked on the strap securing his armor. He stumbled into her. Kanan was having a hard time thinking straight. The kissing, hand-holding, her assertiveness. After months of restrained longing for Hera, things seemed to have changed in a matter of minutes, and it was disorienting. So when she told him to do something aligned very much with his own desires, he wasn't going to stop and argue. He kissed her. Her mouth was already parted, and he deepened it with his tongue. A moan escaped from someone, although he wasn't sure who. Hera was pressed back against the wall, preventing him from wrapping his arm around her, so he cradled a hand around her neck, his thumb running along her jaw. His other hand found her laku and stroked it in long, steady movements. She wrapped a leg over his, hooking her toe behind his knee. Her arms pulled him close until there was no space left between them. They kissed for what seemed like an eternity that was over in an instant until Hera broke it off. You know, I'm detecting a definite yes, Kanan said between breaths, but getting very mixed signals on the where. A room, but not a ghost. No public displays, and then kiss me now. Hera let out a shaky laugh. Sorry. She was peering over Kanan's shoulder, so he turned to see what she was seeing. No, don't, she said, pulling his head back to face her again. He rested his forehead against hers. Okay, he gave her a small smile. What is it? Someone I know. A contact. Cast Ardor, the one who put me in touch with the pirates. He's here. The few times I've met him, well, he doesn't know how to take a hint. Kanan tucked his head and pressed even closer into Hera, carefully glancing over his shoulder. There were a couple of people talking on the far side of the street, just past a cluster of parked speeders. Which one? The human. Kanan nodded, then looked at Hera again. Their faces were so close that he could only focus on one of her eyes at a time. You want me to take care of him? He wasn't sure what that would entitle, but he was certain he could find a way to make sure the man got the message. No, she shook her head. He's obnoxious and annoying, but occasionally useful and sympathetic to our cause. I just want to avoid him. He was about to protest when Hera cut off his reply with another kiss. Kanan could get used to her silencing him with her lips. As he kissed her back, half of his focus was still on the action behind him. He could make out Crust's voice and laughter but no words. Hera's hips grabbed his attention as she grounded against him. He wanted to get even closer to her. He pulled away enough to grip her waist and lifting her up. She responded by wrapping her legs around his hips, locking her feet together. He pressed her against the building, his hands under her. He was sure he had never touched that particular spot on her body. He would have remembered how it felt. He broke away from her mouth to trail kisses down her neck. Hera's hands had completely loosened his hair by this point, and the wind was blowing it around their faces. This new position allowed him to hear Hera's contact speaking better. It also gave him better leverage to push against Hera's hips. When he rolled against her a couple of times and she hummed, he maintained the motion in a languid tempo. Kanan stilled when he heard Klaus begin to move, concerned that the man had spotted them. Hera's nails dug into his neck, urging his attention back to her. She was doing her best to maintain their rhythm, despite not having the same leverage. Kanan kept rocking and nibbling Hera's neck as he heard the man's footsteps fading away from them. Kanan chanced to glance over his shoulder. I think they're gone, he said into her neck. Hera said nothing. Hera? Her movements became quicker and her grip tightened before she stiffened. A tremor rippled through her body and she sagged against him. Kanan completely forgot about the other man he was tracking and instead was dumbstruck by a sudden realization. Wait, did you just... She had been so quiet. Kanan would come to realize that her silence was a warning, a signaling something shifting, something important that he should be ready for when those moments came. She rested her forehead against his shoulder, her goggles digging into his collarbone. Yes, she said between ragged breaths. It sounded like a confession. Wasn't expecting that. Kanan became aware that his mouth was open. But I wasn't paying attention. There was no disappointment in his voice, however, only wonder. Hera recovered enough to give him a long kiss. I forgive you. He didn't need to look at her to know she was smirking. Her legs loosened their grip on his waist, and he held her closely as she slid down his body. She clutched his shirt as her legs wobbled for a second. Hera stopped him as he tried to step away. Are you clean? He stopped, confused. That's not how it works. He looked at her, wondering if he had made the wrong assumption about her experiences. We're both fully clothed. You can't get an infection from dry humping. You know that, right? She gave a nervous laugh and looked down. I mean, for later. You still want to get that room? Belief flooded Kanan. Yes, I wasn't sure. Yes, a room. And are you? Kanan looked bleakly at her for a second, still caught up in getting a room, before he remembered her question. Yes, I thought you knew that. You're the one who had me get a physical. He smiled knowingly, and it was true. She'd made him get a complete check up shortly after he had joined her on the Ghost. And you've used protection since then? I haven't had sex since then, he said. Oh, perhaps with his hand, but for her purposes, it was the truth. You? She nodded. I'm good. Contraceptive? He asked. Figuring if they were discussing this now, then this was as good a time as any. We'll need it, but room first. She was smiling in a way that made him want to kiss her again. Let's go. Kanan followed, trying to keep the grin from taking over his face. But the next in was a bust as well. Kanan tried to keep his panic in check when the man behind the counter gave him news. Apparently, it was a busy night in town. With a sinking feeling, Kanan saw the common room of the last inn was completely packed. Hera took a seat at a table while Kanan tracked down the person responsible for rooms. We're totally filled up. Sorry, bud. The old man behind the bar said. Kanan swore under his breath and glanced at Hera. She was sitting patiently, studying the crowded room, waiting for him to find a space for them to have sex in. It was that image that made Kanan ask the man, listen, do you have anything to rent out? The other inns are completely full too. Maybe something you don't need tonight, but it's got 4 walls and a door. We aren't particular. A back room, a storeroom, a broom closet. I'm happy to pay regular room rates. The old man followed Kanan's look towards Hera. A smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. Well, the man paused, considering. Ahmad. He trailed off, shaking a finger as if he was considering something. Give me a second. I'll see what I can do. He moved from behind the bar towards the back door. Kanan slapped his hand down, grateful for the old man's help. Thank you. He was hopeful that they were getting a room and prayed it wasn't as bad as some of the places he had stayed at. There was probably a limit for what Hera could put up with. He glanced towards where she was sitting, a large booth where the previous occupants' glasses had yet to be cleared. But she was gone. He glanced around, but didn't spy her in the room. He frowned as he sat down in the empty booth, figuring she must have gone to the fresh up. Kanan ran his hands through his hair as he kept scanning the room. His hair tie was long gone, and old habits were hard to break. In looking for Hera, he had missed cross approach. Mind if I join you? Everything is so busy, the man said as he slid into a chair at the other end of the booth next to Kanan. He groaned inwardly when he finally made the connection. Then a brief moment of panic as Chris' hands grabbed Kanan's knee. Kanan reflectively scooted further away before he noticed the man's hands were still above the table. Kanan was beginning to think he had imagined being grabbed when they returned, this time more gentle. In fact, a whole body seemed to lean up against his legs. Hera? The man was going on about the weather and the impending storm, but Kanan paid him no attention, instead dropping his hand beneath the table. He caught a glimpse of Hera's gloves as she squeezed his hand. She must have caught sight of her friend and dropped beneath the table to take cover. This guy must be a piece of work if Hera was going to these lengths to avoid him. Cross had exhausted the weather topic and didn't seem to mind that Kanan wasn't actively participating in the conversation. He switched to check out the other patrons. Now there's some fun, Tail, the man said, eyeing a taruga across the room. Keenan rolled his eyes, then suppressed a gasp as his knees were spread open by Hera's hands. His feet followed suit, and then he felt her settle between his parted legs. The man glanced at him. Keenan smoothed his face over. "You don't say," Keenan said in his best non-committal voice, trying to keep it from breaking as Hera ran her hands down up the inside of his thighs, stopping just short of his crotch, then drawing her hand back down the side of his legs. As good as Hera's attention felt, he wondered if the barkeep would be returning soon. He wanted her to caress him without the distraction of a room full of people. "How about you?" Price was asking him something, but he had no idea what it might have been. A hand was on his crotch now, her fingers gripping him through his pants. He could feel her head pressing against the side of his thigh. Her breath was making a warm spot through the fabric. He closed his eyes to tried to keep his own breath even. "No idea. Sometimes you just need to wait until you get a little room." Keenan wondered if Hera could even hear him under the table. Price looked at Keenan from the corner of his narrowed eyes. Keenan couldn't suppress the groan when she fumbled with his belt, loosening it, and then moving on to the button of his pants. The table was large enough that she was in no danger of being seen, but Keenan was struggling to retain his composure. "You okay?" Keenan closed his eyes as she pulled the zipper down. "Not going quite right." It came out in a rush in the moment before she made another move. His hands were splayed on the dirty tablecloth, his fingers gripping the surface as Hera slid her own fingers into his underwear, pulling his cock free. Keenan gasped. The force helped him. She had taken her glove off and was now stroking him with her bare hand. The man was rising and mumbling some excuse about checking on a friend, but Keenan ignored him, all his focus on what Hera was doing under the table. A warm wetness enveloped her mouth. Hera was giving him a blowjob under the table. He almost wished he could see it, except he was too distracted by the sensation to be able to dwell on that image. All thoughts of a room left Keenan, and his experience narrowed to what she was doing to him. How her tongue moved, how her hand gripped him, how her liqueur draped across his thigh. Keenan was pretty sure he looked like an idiot with his face slack and his eyes unfocused. Something tugged his attention through the erotic haze his mind was in. The barkeep was making his way through the crowded room. "Hera, you still want that room?" Keenan managed to ask, his voice husky. He wasn't sure how she did it, but she had scrambled out beneath the table and was sitting next to him again. He glanced at her. She smiled back sweetly while putting her gloves back on. Keenan groaned at the loss of her touch before dropping his hands beneath the table, scrambling to pull himself together into something publicly presentable. The barkeep didn't seem to notice Keenan's predicament as he approached. "Good news. My girlfriend said I can check up with her tonight, so you guys can have my place. It's out back through those doors. You can't miss it. Pay in the morning. I gotta get back to work. Have a good night." The barkeep slid a key card across the table to them with a wink before heading back to the bar. Keenan and Hera exchanged glances. Their luck was changing. A room was waiting for them. A private room to do whatever they wanted to each other in. They both jumped up at the same time, grabbing hands and making for the back door. Fat raindrops were just beginning to fall, landing on Keenan's face as they stepped out of the building. He was trying to orientate himself, looking for an outbuilding of some sort that would have the old man's room. Hera came to a stop next to him. "What?" he asked, looking around. The distant rumble of thunder reverted through the air, but Hera remained ominously still. The space behind the building was dominated by a starship, a light freighter model that he didn't recognize. Keenan was reminded of the Escape, although this was only slightly larger. The ramp was down and a soft glow came from the cockpit window. This was an odd place to park a ship. so close to buildings. Keenan wondered if the outer building was on the other side of it. But something about the freighter was bothering Keenan, until he realized that its landing gear had been replaced by large blocks. The engine had been removed as well. They were sitting on the ground at odd angles, as if they had just been dropped there. In what little light was left, Keenan could make out what appeared to be flowers growing out of the top of them. This starship was permanently grounded. It had to be their room for the night. Hera, he asked tentatively. He had no idea how she would react. She had been adamant about a room, about not going back to the ghost. Maybe she had a thing about having sex on ships. She was quiet for a long moment, and that worried him. He had trouble making out her expression in the shadows until a flash of lightning illuminated her. She had a broad smile on her face. "Ardor," she finally said. "What?" She gazed at the front of the ship, to something that Keenan, with his human vision, couldn't make out. "The ship's name is Ardor. I think it might be. I think it's meant to be." She tugged at his hand, eagerly pulling him towards the ramp. "Let's go check it out, love."